Welcome back to another episode of tellmesispodcast, featuring your two favorite sisters,
Alex
and Kyla.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope you're having an excellent week so far. It is a gloomy, rainy day where we are.
Very gloomy. I'm cold right now, which is why I have a blanket wrapped around me. My mind is not screwed on properly today, my brain.
Which is perfect for the topic of this episode, which is ADHD.
Yep.
Obviously, we are not doctors or professionals or anything of that matter.
We're talking about our personal experience.
Yes. We want to talk about our personal experience and just start a little conversation about this because I feel like there's so many women in my life that have been diagnosed with ADHD later in life. I have a lot of friends that don't have it, but
undiagnosed ADHD in women is super common.
Yeah.
And I think what I've read, at least, is that it goes undiagnosed in women for a lot longer, and it's more common for it to go undiagnosed in women, I should say, because generally speaking, ADHD in women is not as obvious to like the outside world. Also, I feel like it's only being spoken about a lot more now, especially with social media, whereas like when we were in high school, it was like still somewhat before social media, and like the social media that we did have, like people weren't talking about their mental health. It was like just random, like, anyways, it's a lot more spoken about on social media now, but back in the day it wasn't. And I had undiagnosed ADHD my entire life up until maybe 2 years ago.
Has it only been 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Why did I think it was longer than that? Oh, it's because someone else I know was talking to me about it kind of a little bit before you, and the two of you together both made me go and see my doctor. Not like you didn't force me to go see my doctor, but you made me aware of certain signs that I could potentially have it, which I fought for a long time. I was like, I don't have that. I have the opposite.
Yeah, because also like ADHD shows up differently in everyone.
Yeah. There's a huge reason as to why so many women have struggled with anxiety for so long, because a lot of anxieties are tied in with ADHD, especially if you've gone undiagnosed, haven't done any work on yourself, haven't tried to like look for the root of the issues. And like
anxiety and depression are very closely tied to ADHD. It's like a symptom.
Yeah. I know for myself, when I was postpartum, I was looking for like answers as to why I was feeling a certain way. I mean, I know the hormones, obviously, but it was the second time I was postpartum. So I was like, okay, hormones present themselves differently. Maybe I have a thyroid issue. Maybe that's what's causing me to have extra anxiety and extra depression. And I was in therapy and I was talking about all these things. And at one point, my therapist, who at the time for postpartum, the woman I was talking to, she is just a therapist. Like, she's not a doctor or anything like that. She's not a psychiatrist, can't prescribe medication, whatever. But she did bring up the fact that it's very possible that I have undiagnosed ADHD and like I should talk to my doctor about it. And I was like, no, my friend and my sister said the same thing. I really think I have the opposite problem. And I don't know why I was so convinced on that, because when I went to see my doctor and we went over just like a generalized questionnaire, and he was asking me questions about like me as a kid and like in school and just hobbies and how I was, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I was ticking off all these boxes, and it made me realize like, holy fuck, I've had this for a really long time.
Yeah.
And
also with ADHD, what's kind of confusing about it too is that, at least for me, what was really confusing, I had a very hard time staying focused, but which I know is a symptom of ADHD. But there were certain things that would capture my attention, and I'd be very interested in those things, and I would be hyper fixated, like, and very focused, and I would learn very quickly. I would grasp things very easily, and I was like, oh, maybe I don't have ADHD then, because when I actually pay attention and I'm interested in something, like I could grasp something right away, and like I learn very quickly, and I'm very good at it. But that's a sign of ADHD.
Yeah.
It's like one of the biggest signs of ADHD or symptoms is how do I word it properly? Is being able to, like, you hyper focus on certain things, and it, like, especially if you're interested, but only when you feel like the stakes are high. If there's going to be a consequence, if there's a deadline,
Okay.
if
it's due tomorrow.
Yeah, if like anything that makes the stakes feel high, someone with an ADHD brain will be able to get the task done, even if they're not necessarily.
Isn't that most people though?
Interested. No, some
Really?
people who are neurotypical, like who don't have ADHD, they can do things, they can complete tasks. It doesn't feel as unbearable to start the task. They're able to sit down. It's easier for them to sit down and actually complete the task and then move on to another task.
Well, that I
And,
knew, but I didn't realize the whole if the stakes are high, because I figured if that's most people, if the stakes are high, they're going to do what they need to do.
Yeah, of course. But for someone with ADHD, if they're like given a task,
oh, if the stakes aren't high, they're not going to do it.
And the stakes aren't high,
Okay.
and they're also not really interested
Okay.
in whatever it is they need to do, it almost feels impossible to do it.
Understand. My biggest thing was learning that it, for the most part, it presents differently in boys and girls, especially as children.
Mm-hmm.
Boys are a lot more physical, so it'll show in like how hyper they are. They can't sit still in the classroom, whatever. Girls is a lot more mental, so it's like their brain is racing. It can't focus. It's whatever. And I always thought I had like not a learning disability, because I was always able to learn, but I definitely I struggled a lot in school. Like academically, I felt like I always needed tutors. I always needed help, unless it's like you're saying, I was super interested and I got it. Then I was like, I loved that subject.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could have had like a delay in learning. But I think that if I would have known about, or if just it was more talked about in general with girls with ADHD, and we would have known and I could have had proper help, I feel like my schooling would have been much different.
Well, it's because like the school system, they only cater to one type of learner, and people with ADHD, our brains, it's not even that we have a learning disability. Because who's to say that like the way that the school system is set up is the proper way to learn? Like there's no proper way. Everyone learns differently. So it was kind of like people with ADHD for the most part are at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And that does put you behind academically, because you could be a lot more distracted. You could zone out a lot more. Mm-hmm. So you're not actually like listening to what it is that the teacher is talking about. So that puts you behind, and then like it just becomes a snowball effect from there when it goes like undiagnosed.
Yeah.
And when it comes to learning, like if it was a topic that you weren't necessarily interested in,
yeah,
on top of it being something that's kind of difficult already,
yeah,
then like it's not a learning disability. It's just your mind is you grasp things differently. And also, not to mention, when something genuinely isn't interesting, it's very hard, very, very hard for an ADHDer to pay attention. Like to me, the way my mind works is like if what I'm listening to doesn't interest me right away, I'm not like, my brain doesn't find something to like latch onto that has meaning for me personally, it's like I'm zoned out. And
that's
it happens
what confuses
so
me.
quickly.
Isn't that most people? Like if you're not interested, wouldn't you just not be interested and just like
because people could be not interested in something but still listen.
Okay, but I guess I did listen. So that's like, even if I wasn't interested.
But I'm saying it's like it's different for everyone too,
Yeah,
right? Like my main thing was that if I wasn't interested, like my mind would just like stop listening
and like think of other things.
Yeah, sometimes even when I am interested in a topic, but like I'm still a little like I'm interested but not enough, I guess. Like someone will say something that reminds me of something else, and then I start thinking about that other thing, And then like I realize I've been thinking about something completely different for the last 5 minutes, not listening to what the person's saying.
Yeah. Well, it's a huge reason as to why people with ADHD cut each other off. It's because while, let's say, you're talking, I have a thought that pops in my head based off the thing you're talking. But if you continue talking, I'm going to forget the thought that I had that I want to tell you about. So I cut you off to tell you my thought so that I don't forget it. But then I cut you off. And then you're not even finished speaking. And then you lose track of where you're going because I cut you off.
Yeah.
And so people with ADHD, like, a lot of people get mad if like people cut people off, which it's not nice. It's actually it's rude. But I can understand why people with ADHD do that. It's just something that we need to work on.
Yeah.
It's not an excuse. You don't do it and just like, well, I have ADHD, so like deal with it. It's like, no. Be aware that you're doing it and try to work on it so that you don't lose that train of thought.
Yeah.
And you can, once they're finished speaking.
Like literally as I was talking 2 seconds ago, when the point I was bringing up of like if the stakes aren't high.
Yeah.
I started by like kind of giving a bit of context. And then when I was about to say my point, I was like, I don't even remember what I was talking about.
Yeah, because your mind like wanders.
And I'm on medication. It's weird.
So my doctor, and like, again, I'm not a doctor. And I'm sure if you are a doctor, maybe you've done different research. I don't know. My doctor told me the medication is actually, it's not a solution to the problem. It's a Band-Aid. You don't rely on the medication to get like quote unquote cured. It's not going to happen. There are things you need to do in order to better your attention span, your memory. Like there are things you can do to actually help your brain and things you can practice, but we just don't.
Yeah. It's because with ADHD minds, we're lacking a certain chemical that gives, there's a certain chemical that we're lacking in our minds. I forget what it is. And so our brains don't light up as easily. So then when our brains do, you know, there is a topic that we're interested in or something happens that gives us like a, you know, like that we're stimulated in the moment, we latch onto it and we become obsessed with it. That's why people with ADHD like hyperfixate on certain things. And then when they're over it and like on to the next kind of thing. But when it comes to, the whole point of me saying that is like when it comes to the medication, because I remember telling you that as well. Because I remember I was like, when I first started taking the right medication for me, it felt very euphoric. And then it went back to being like kind of, like it was still helping, but it was like just kind of leveled out, if that makes sense. Like I didn't feel.
Your body got used to it.
Exactly. Which is normal. And basically you're still supposed to feel like yourself. You don't want to be on such a high dose where like you don't feel like yourself anymore. You feel high. Your emotions are muted. But at the same time, the medication actually is supposed to do is it's just supposed to give you that more of those chemicals that people who don't have ADHD naturally have in their brain. So it's easier for you to start a task and complete it because it kind of makes you feel more motivated and in a better mood kind of thing. It wakes you up.
That's probably why it helps with anxiety.
It wakes up parts of your mind that otherwise are like not lighting up.
That makes a lot of sense. But I also know it's a multitude of things because that 100% is a huge aspect, the chemical imbalance. But I do think our day and age with social media and like short form content and like we need things like instantly. I think that also has a lot to do with the uprise in ADHD because it makes our attention spans so short. Like we cannot even focus. I catch myself, and I've talked about this so many times, where I'm like watching TV and I'm also on my phone while there's also Pinterest on my computer. It's like I'm multitasking so many different things. That does not help with ADHD.
No,
that's actually the worst thing to do.
Because the second your mind isn't like stimulated, you have to like stimulate it by doing something else.
The things that I was reading about, obviously, like I didn't go to my doctor for this. I went more to like my therapist and just like my own research type thing. I trust my doctor with meds and like my blood work. That's about it. So for me, what I've gathered is practicing mindfulness is like probably one of the best things you could do. Slowing down in eating, in speaking, in thinking, and in doing. Slow. Like to the point where you sometimes are like, okay, like get to the point, but it's like, no, take your time. Practicing that. And then on top of it, not doom scrolling.
So yeah, the doom scrolling is no bueno.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that like during my working hours, like I'm so much better with my medication at locking in on a task and completing it.
Yes.
The only thing is sometimes I'm a little too locked in and then I lose track of time, or I'll spend too much time on something because I'm also a perfectionist.
Yeah,
so
well, that's
like,
a whole added aspect.
Oh my God, it like never ends. But anyways, with undiagnosed ADHD in women, when you get that diagnosis, it explains so freaking much. Like I used to think that I was just an anxious person. I had generalized anxiety or whatever it's called. But then my therapist had mentioned to me, she brought up like the whole perfectionism thing. Mm-hmm. So she's the one that helped me understand perfectionism and the fact that I'm a perfectionist, and that is not generalized anxiety. It's different. And then also my ADHD, I don't remember if that was my therapist that helped me realize I had ADHD or if it was my doctor.
It could have also been TikTok. The person I know, the other person, said it was TikTok for them.
Maybe.
Because it was someone talking about how they were diagnosed and they went through a checklist of what they had. And the person that I know was like watching it like, oh my God, that's me. And then brought that to the doctor and was like, don't judge me, but I saw this TikTok and like, I'm curious. And then that's how the conversation started.
Yeah.
But I never had a euphoric feeling on my meds.
But you're also not on a high enough dose.
Okay. So I guess for me, it just helps me complete a task. Like if I take it during a work day and I have a lot of editing to do, I'll get it all done.
Also, it depends too, right? Like, I mean, this is also just me assuming. I'm also not a doctor.
Yeah.
But like, it's very possible that for me, I was lacking even more of those chemicals in my brain. And that's why when I started taking Vyvanse, I felt very euphoric at first. Maybe like for you, because also like with those, I don't know the science behind it, but my symptom from ADHD of like zoning out, not being able to focus, is much worse than yours.
Yeah. And it's been like that since we were kids.
Yeah.
But I do have to say that postpartum played a huge role in my like scatterbrain, brain fog, like not being able to complete tasks. Like I was not that bad prior to pregnancy. Like I definitely had ADHD, but I just don't think it was like, I think I probably could have gone my whole life without any medication and been okay. But it was the postpartum that really was like, I was struggling so hard.
Yeah.
And I think going on that medication for work purposes helped like tenfold. But then also on a personal aspect, I was able to like actually have conversations with people where I would be listening to what they're saying and not thinking of the next thing that I wanted to say.
Yeah, and also it helps with like your anxiety and stuff, because then and depression, because it's kind of like they all kind of go hand in hand. It's like a snowball effect. It's a vicious cycle where you have ADHD, it's undiagnosed, you don't understand yourself, you feel also undiagnosed ADHD, you're oftentimes labeled as lazy.
Yeah.
Or stupid. When in reality, it's not laziness. It's just our minds work in very different ways. But anyways, it's a vicious cycle in the sense where it's harder for you to start a task. You don't complete a task, or you start a million different tasks, don't complete one, which then gives you anxiety. Mm-hmm. And then with enough time, that constant anxiety and like you not being able to do things or like complete tasks or start tasks or whatever it is when you would have wanted to, then eventually it kind of leads to depression because there's so much negative self-talk.
Yeah. And
then it's harder for you to start tasks when you are also experiencing depression, and then and then you have more anxiety, and it's just a never-ending vicious cycle. And so, and it shows up differently with everyone. Everyone experiences it differently. Sometimes the symptoms look the same. Like my ADHD looks so different from yours, and it also looks so different from someone else that I know who has ADHD. Like she has more of like the hyperness to her. Whereas like for me, it's like I don't have that hyperness. Like sometimes, okay, I'll have a burst of energy every once in a while, but like I don't have that hyper activity component. I'm not super restless. Sometimes I am, but like for me, it was really just, it was the focus that really affected me. I could not focus. I would get bored very easily. I wouldn't remember things. I would forget, because if my mind isn't, if something that I'm hearing is, there's nothing about it that really sticks out to me, then like I'm gonna forget.
It's probably why you forget a lot of, like, when we were having a conversation about past episodes, you're like, I don't even remember what the fuck we spoke about.
Yeah, because to me it all is just like, there's nothing like, but then I'll remember certain things that we like before when we were recording before, and I was like, didn't we already like talk about this in an episode? And you're like, oh yeah, yeah, but it was because that episode, the topic of conversation stood out to me. It was more important, whereas like other episodes, it was just kind of,
you're like, whatever.
I'm like, whatever, there's nothing about it that
because I do know we've talked about this many times, like being on ADHD medication, like undiagnosed. We've talked all about this, but we haven't like a full episode about it. And I said in one of my Instagram posts not long ago that I had been diagnosed with ADHD. And I got a lot of messages from people being like, you should really talk about this. Like, this is something that I think a lot of women are struggling with. And obviously we're not professionals, but we can speak to our own experiences, especially coming from someone who like was really just like, I guess not against it, but like I almost didn't even believe it. I was like, no, like in my mind I was like, maybe they are just lazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you know the difference between being lazy and if you have ADHD? Like, some people are just lazy. So like, what would make the difference? I think that you could
spot the difference between laziness and ADHD, because laziness is just kind of consistent all across the board. Okay. Whereas people with ADHD, you'll notice in certain aspects, they're not lazy. So like if they're interested in something, they're going to become like obsessive with it.
Okay.
Or like they pick up on like certain things really quickly. They could feel like super energized and motivated with some things, and then other things it's like no. Sometimes they have like huge bursts of productivity and energy, and other times they don't. Yeah. It's like
inconsistent.
Very inconsistent. Whereas laziness, like true laziness, a lot of the time, even at that, it's not really fair, because how do you know someone is not struggling with like depression or like severe anxiety? Like it's, if you think about it, does laziness, true laziness, actually exist?
Yes.
Or is there always an underlying?
I think there's sometimes it's just you're lazy.
Really?
I think that. For sure. For sure. I don't know why. I just feel like there is. Not everything has like a deeper issue. Sometimes it's okay to be lazy. Like if you've been working so hard for so long. But
that's burnout.
No, I mean, like, if, let's say you work really hard throughout the year and then you have 2 weeks off for Christmas and you just want to be lazy and do nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that, I think that's, like, totally fine. Where I think it's not okay is, like, if you actually, like, are affecting other people and their lives by your laziness, you know? But I do think there are people that are just lazy with certain aspects, and it's not because they have, like, depression or anxiety, which that exists, but I think some people, it's just that they don't care and they're not considerate of other people.
Yeah, maybe my definition of lazy is not accurate.
Maybe
because then I'm like, if they're just selfish and inconsiderate, that's just being emotionally lazy. You mean?
Yeah, I guess, but like,
anyways, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Either way,
maybe I'm so wrong, but I'm thinking more like when I was younger and people in my life, like, let's say a guy or whatever that like never did his homework and would just want to play video games, and it wasn't like he was trying to escape anything, like he had a fine life, like he didn't have depression or anything like that, maybe undiagnosed, like I don't know all these things, but like he just was like lazy, didn't feel like doing it.
Yeah, maybe.
And then just very didn't do his homework.
Yeah, very possible. Because I remember for me, like when I was younger, I think it was when I was in school, I don't remember, or like there were certain things that like, anyways, I would like vent to someone very close to me in my life, and one of the things that they would say every once in a while was like, oh well, you're just lazy, and I always used to be like, but I don't feel lazy, like I care a lot, but I didn't have the vocabulary to like articulate the way I was feeling.
Yeah.
So like that person was just looking at my external behavior, but they weren't grasping. I'm not blaming that person either. But, and they meant well, like they wanted to help me, and it was just, people don't always give the best advice, whatever. But I remember internally always thinking like, I don't feel lazy though. Now I know that I felt, what was the word for it? I felt blocked in a way. I forget the proper term, but there was like almost like something was blocking me from being able to do something or like start something.
Okay.
And it was my ADHD, but not only just my ADHD, it was my perfectionism on top of my ADHD. With perfectionism, you think to yourself subconsciously, instead of, if I can't do this task perfectly, I don't want to do it at all. Sorry. And it's so overwhelming, that feeling, that it like blocks you from starting it.
So that's perfectionism, not ADHD.
That's perfectionism. And then with ADHD, it's undiagnosed, especially, it gives you anxiety, because then you're also like, even if I start it, I won't be consistent with it. I won't be able to like finish the whole thing.
Yeah, that's I think where I recognized it the most in myself, is that I started a billion tasks and I couldn't finish it, and then I would forget every task, and I felt like I was walking in circles, and like my head was just a fog. Like I couldn't think, I couldn't remember anything, I couldn't focus, and then on top of it I was having a million intrusive thoughts. My anxiety was like all over, like it was so confusing to me, and I knew logically, I'm like, I'm in postpartum right now, this is all like normal, my hormones are like crazy out of whack, but like I cannot live my life like this. Like I have 2 kids now, I have a job, like I have to work, I need to figure this out because I am struggling. And
do you have good pattern recognition?
Yes, and as a child, yes. Postpartum, absolutely not. Or if I'm like stressed or whatever, going through something, probably not. But like I think on like the average day, yes.
Because that's another symptom of ADHD, having like really high pattern recognition. And that can just be as simple as like you're driving and there's traffic, and you almost know like before a car even puts their signal on, or before something happens, like you could recognize like, oh, this is gonna happen. Like,
oh, that's not what I thought, but
I'm just giving like one example.
Okay,
there's also with like human behavior, like if you're around certain people and you see like a social dynamic play out enough times, like you already know, like before entering a conversation, or if you already know where this conversation is headed, who's gonna say what the outcome is gonna be, or like, it's hard to explain properly.
It's almost like that's tied in with my anxiety though, because that's how I used to live my life for so long, in like the what ifs, because I would assume that like this is how it's going to play out, and sometimes it would, but like a lot of the time sometimes it wouldn't.
That's not pattern recognition.
It's not?
Yeah.
So then I'm not understanding.
That's just anxiety. Pattern recognition is more like things that are obvious, like start talking about something and like a topic, and like this topic is definitely going to trigger one person, and so you don't say certain things, or like you already know essentially what it is. I'm not explaining it properly. You know the outcome before it happens.
Yeah, I think as a kid I was a lot more like, I have specific memories, and I'll give a super like weird example, but like asking mom to get McDonald's as a kid, you knew the answer is going to be no.
Yeah.
Like just knowing that, but still like hoping it would be different, but knowing it wouldn't. And as a kid, like waiting, because you knew every
once in a while it would be a yes.
Yeah, but like for the most part it was no.
Yeah.
And so like I think there's a lot of things in my life, that's a very like base example, but there's a lot of memories I have of just certain things that I knew the outcome before it happened.
Yeah. Like, and it could be in like all different kinds of contexts too. It could be like in, you know, social dynamics. It can be like just driving, like traffic. It could be anything, literally anything. If you have really good pattern recognition.
So maybe I don't.
And these are normally things. It's like I could literally predict outcomes so quickly. And like it's very easy for me to spot patterns in people and dynamics.
So maybe
like,
I don't.
There's been times where I'm like in a situation where I already know what the outcome is going to be, and the person or the people I'm with don't. And before I knew that this was like a symptom of ADHD, I would be like, how do people not know that this is going to happen?
I feel like I would need better examples because right now it's not making sense to me.
Let me see if I can get a good example.
Is it because you're very observant? Because sometimes things go in one ear, out the other with me, like, or it goes over my head.
Let me see.
Because when you said pattern recognition, this is literally where my brain went, Kyla. Like matching games. Like remembering, like when you play cards and you had to match.
Yeah.
Like the pattern. Like I was really good at that. That's where my brain went. I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at that, actually.
It says, yes, this is a great question because pattern recognition is one of the most misunderstood strengths of ADHD. What pattern recognition actually is. Pattern recognition is the brain's ability to notice recurring themes, behaviors, structures, or outcomes, connect seemingly unrelated details, detect inconsistencies, shifts, or something's off before it's obvious.
Okay.
Predict what will likely happen next based on past data. It's almost like
you're a detective.
It's almost like people will say, "Oh, you're so intuitive," when in reality it's pattern recognition.
Okay.
And I've been told many times, you're really intuitive, Kyla.
Yeah.
But then I'm starting to think, is it intuition or is it just pattern recognition? So like I could walk in a room, spot someone's overall energy, pick up on the fact that they're in a bad mood, and I already know they're probably going to leave early tonight. Whereas other people would be like, no, like maybe they'll stay. Maybe they'll be in a much better mood. I'm right in the end. The person left early.
Yeah, so I guess I don't have that.
So it's not just about math or visuals. It applies to people's behavior, emotional dynamics, social cues, power dynamics, manipulation, trends, risk, intent. In humans, this is largely driven by associative memory, rapid information scanning, intuition built from lived experience, subconscious data synthesis. So why people with ADHD are unusually good at it. ADHD brains don't filter information the same way. Neurotypical brains filter aggressively. This is relevant, this isn't. Huh? ADHD brains filter less. Everything comes in, we'll sort it later.
You're losing
so like
me.
Someone without ADHD, their mind is more organized. Any information they receive, they put it into
their little compartments.
Not so important.
And then they remember it.
With ADHD, everything comes in. You only filter it afterwards, which is why we're so scattered.
It's like going into someone's home and it's a total pigsty. Like it's a mess, everything's everywhere, and then going into someone else's home where everything's organized.
Yeah. So like that's why people with ADHD, it says, notice micro details that others miss, store more contextual data, register tones, tone shifts, timing, energy changes, pick up on contradictions. While this can feel overwhelming, it creates massive data sets for pattern recognition. ADHD brains think associatively, not linearly. Neurotypical thinking, A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
ADHD thinking, A to F to C to K to B. Oh, this is the same as X from 3 years ago.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
It looks chaotic on the surface, but it allows rapid cross-referencing, symbolic thinking, metaphor-based understanding, gut knowing that's actually subconscious pattern matching.
Okay.
This is why ADHD people often say, I don't know how I know, I just know.
Mm-hmm.
No, but this like really relates to me.
Okay.
Like this is very accurate for me. But it's like what we said earlier, everyone's symptoms for ADHD, it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
So if you're not relating to this, doesn't mean you don't have ADHD.
Yeah, I know.
It's just this is not one of your symptoms.
Yeah.
Emotional pattern recognition is especially strong. think of me when you hear this, okay?
Okay.
Many people with ADHD are hyper aware of emotional shifts, interpersonal dynamics, unspoken tension, inconsistencies between words and behaviors. Why? Because ADHD often comes with rejection sensitivity, early hypervigilance, social adaptation, needing to read the room to stay safe or connected. So when you say I'm super observant, it's me being, I am observant, but it's because I have ADHD as well. I'm constantly scanning the room. I'm hypervigilant. I'm picking up on things that other people miss, like someone's mood, any micro signals, like their body language, the look on their face. Like,
so you're like hyper aware of
between,
social cues.
Yeah, tension between two people. That's my ADHD.
Yeah.
They don't just hear what someone says, they track what's not said, how it's said, when behavior changes, how actions diverge from words. People say a lot of the time too, like, oh, Kyla, like you're overthinking. Yeah, I definitely think I can overthink, but a lot of the time it's not overthinking. I pick up on things that other people miss. So like, for example, and like I fixate on certain things.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, like, you can overthink and that's fine. It's when you fixate on it and you can't like let it go, that's when it can become dangerous for you.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's not necessarily overthinking about nothing. It's because I spotted something.
And maybe you could relate to something that happened in the past that was negative and that you're scared it's gonna happen again, so it gives you anxiety, and then it's like a whole tie-in.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna fix that. Do you find that being on medication, it helps you like calm that about yourself a little bit? Or does the medication really only help you focus?
It really just helps me focus.
Okay.
It doesn't give me anxiety or anything, but it's really just the main thing is the focus.
Okay.
But here's where it says it says where it gets confusing and sometimes mislabeled as anxiety.
Okay.
Pattern recognition can be mistaken for paranoia, distrust, overanalysis, anxiety, control issues. The difference is this. Anxiety asks, what if something bad happens? Pattern recognition says, this specific thing has happened before in this specific way, and the trajectory matches.
Okay. Yeah, so like let's say you've been cheated on and you saw the red flags, and then you see all the same red flags with a new person, and it's like, okay, it's the same thing that happened. Like, it's the pattern that you're recognizing.
And sometimes it's not even the exact same red flags in the sense of like their external behavior. It's like more the energy shift, or like the way that someone can look at you.
Oh my God,
or their body language. And it's like it registers on like a very deep level as like, okay, this person is probably thinking this because
oh my God,
I've like felt this type of energy from someone in the past, and this is how it ended, and then I end up being right.
I don't want this to sound insensitive or awful, so I'm sorry if it does, but like, it must be fucking exhausting being in your head.
Oh, it is.
Like, even you just like saying that out loud, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Of like, dang. Like, if you live like
my
that.
My brain doesn't stop. I don't know how to shut it off. And that's why when it comes to me being able to focus, or when people would say, oh, she's zoned out in her own world, I'm not zoned out. I'm not thinking about I'm thinking about so much.
It's like racing.
I'm just not listening to what you're saying, because what you're saying to me doesn't
stimulate anything.
It's not even that it doesn't stimulate anything. It's that there's no important meaning behind it. Like if someone tells me what their favorite drink is and I forget, like,
yeah,
and then they get so insulted if I don't remember, even if they've told me 5 times. It's like, to me, what difference does it make what your favorite drink is?
Maybe to them it's important,
because that's how they show care. But like,
yeah,
for me, showing care is just showing up consistently, even if I forget certain details.
This is why I think for so long I believed I didn't have ADHD, because I felt like I didn't fit into many of the categories. It's not until I was asked specific questions about myself, my childhood, my upbringing, that I was like, wait a minute, that makes sense. But all these other ones, I'm like, I could not relate less. Like, it just doesn't work in my brain. And so that's why when you said before, when you have ADHD, like it doesn't mean that the symptom is going to be your symptom.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense because it's like just hearing that I'm like, oh, I don't have ADHD.
No, but it's like it's not black or white. It's just that's
exactly.
not a symptom of your ADHD.
And there's a pretty big spectrum with most things. So in Quebec, the way my doctor explained to me, the official like real diagnosis to get for ADHD by the government is like $3,000, like to do like the official like real thing. And that's like if you need extra help with like work, school, whatever, you need this like whatever. He was explaining it to me. He goes, but like any doctor can prescribe you medication if you fit enough of the criteria.
Yeah, I did that with my family doctor, and I didn't do like the $3,000.
Yeah. He was like, you
test.
don't need.
I had to like fill out like it was like a questions, and I had to like check off the boxes and whatever.
Yeah.
And she asked me more questions, and I was explaining to her in more detail. But I was like, I definitely have ADHD. And it's also, it can be genetic too.
Yeah, my issue with diagnoses with this though, and it's the same thing when I was like diagnosed back in the day when I was 19 with like bipolar disorder. And then again, another psychiatrist saying, oh, actually it's not bipolar, you have BPD. It was like misdiagnosed or whatever it was. We did like a whole deep dive. Sometimes with these diagnoses, like, and this happened to me, you like use it as an excuse for your behavior. It's like, oh, well, I do that because of this, or I do that because I have ADHD, or this happens to me because of my perfectionism, like you're saying. And it's like, that's all accurate, but like, are you doing anything about it?
No, you have to do something about it,
like,
especially if it's affecting someone else in some way, someone that you care about.
Yeah.
Even if you don't necessarily, even if you struggle to fix it, or you know, you don't necessarily think it's that big of a deal, if it's affecting someone else, then you need to figure out a way that like, even if it just comes down to like communicating properly, like being like vulnerable, you know. For me, I'll sometimes say like, I know you already told me this, or you most likely have told me this, and I'm so sorry, I really don't remember, but can you whatever, like answer this question again, like what's your favorite drink again? I'm so sorry, I'm trying to remember, I know you told me, but I just like, you know, show that like you care and like you're apologetic kind
but
of
like
thing.
What if you forget that they've told you a billion times?
Then you could say, oh, you've probably told me this already.
Because like it's happened to me now recently, two different people where I've like been introduced to them, and I'm like, oh, it's so nice to meet you, and they're like, oh, I've actually met before at like this thing, and I was like, oh my god, I don't remember that at all. And then I feel so bad. I feel like not nice. If I met someone like 5 times and I was pretending I didn't know, obviously it's a different story, but like it's happened now with 2 different people where they're like, oh, I've met before actually, like in 2022, and I was like, oh fuck,
I feel like that's also just like situational though. That happens to a lot of people. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I think that with my example of like forgetting certain things, like someone's favorite drink or their, I don't know, favorite clothing brand, whatever it is, favorite artist, and I just completely forget, I'll feel more like, I'll feel bad, but then I also like shame myself for it because I'm like, why can't I just fucking remember? Like, I know I care about this person. Yeah. I genuinely care about this person, but I can't remember certain things. But then I'll remember something that they told me
10 years ago.
Yeah, so long ago, and it's like I'll remember very detailed information that most people would forget, but then I can't remember like the very basic things. This
has been an issue in my relationship with my husband for so long in therapy. Like when we started couples therapy, it would drive him crazy how I'd like bring up something that I remembered so clearly as an example, but then I couldn't remember like the most like basic mundane things. And he was like, I don't get how like you have such a good memory for that, but then you can't remember to put your freaking shoes away when you walk in. Like, how is it that you can remember something I said from 10 years ago and then you can't put your freaking Q-tip in the garbage? Like, it would be like things like that.
Because it's almost like, I know I'm speaking on like behalf of me. Yeah. Putting myself in your shoes. I would forget to put my Q-tip away or forget to put my shoes away because it's almost like muscle memory. And when he's asking you again and again to change that, you have to figure out a way that's like, how do I remember to do these things? How do I make it so that the stakes feel high? Like, what's the consequence? Do I want my husband to be pissed at me and give me shit? And then I'm going to be in like this whole lecture kind of, and it's going to affect me in X, Y, and Z ways. Like, you have to think of like a consequence that you're going to face. I literally have to actively do that.
Because now I'm at the point where like once in a while I'll still forget shit, but like I mean we've been together for so long that okay, sorry guys, the camera died, but we'll still continue with talking. But there's been times where like for example, when we bought our first home, we didn't buy, we rented it. The first home that we moved into together, my husband and I remember he was like, okay, it's really important to me that like you don't leave your shoes in front of the door, because then when I walk in, I open the door, I like hit your shoes and like I can't open the door properly. And I was like, oh duh, like I would put that, but I would like always forget. I don't know why. And then he said at one point he remembers, I think it was mom or dad that came over and they did the same thing, and I remember in therapy he was like, it clicked in my mind that like, okay, you didn't grow up learning to put your shoes away. Yeah. Like it was just something that like your family just kind of took them off and whatever. And like, that's not a good or bad thing. It's just like, it's just what you guys did and what you're used to. So like, you're basically having to now like retrain, like you said, muscle memory to do something, which to the average person would be a normal thing to not leave your shoes in front of the door. But like, it was just so normal, I guess, to us that he was like, it gave him a bit more of like an understanding. He was like, but still put your fucking shoes away. Yeah. I was like, fair. Yeah.
Like, see, I'm better in that regard where like if someone tells me that something I'm doing is bothering them and they ask for like they give me like a clear solution. So like for example, what dad, shoes. You know, the shoes, put them away, or put your Q-tips away. Yeah. I'll remember those things. Okay. If someone, because then the stakes feel higher, I know for me personally, it bothers me enough to know that I'm affecting someone else in a negative way. Okay. Because I care.
But like, I would forget that was my issue.
But when it comes to someone telling me like a piece of information that I don't necessarily, I forget it. Even if I forget it a million times, that person almost has to like call me out on it for me to really grasp and remember.
Like, let's say I told you my favorite drink, we'll use that as the example. I'm like, my favorite drink is a Diet Coke and whatever, everyone fucking knows that. And let's say like we go out and you're like, what do you want to drink? I'm like, I'll get a Diet Coke and it's my favorite drink. Oh, okay, cool. And then like by the 15th time you're like, what would you like? And I was like, for future, like I'll always like a Diet Coke. You're like, okay, cool. Next time, so what would you like? And it's like, I told you a Diet Coke. That's my favorite drink. Like, it's really frustrating that I have to keep telling you that. Like, I wouldn't say it like that, but I'm just saying, is that how it would get through to you? Or do you think by me saying like, oh, you don't have to ask me again, like that's always what I'll want? Do you think that would make you remember?
It would be more like, don't attack me and don't say something so general. Like, that's always what I'll want, because in my mind, I'm like, that's not always what you're going to want. You might change your mind one day. Okay. Like, that's the way my mind works.
Okay, yeah. Well, fair.
For me, it would be more like, oh, by the way, I've told you this like a bunch of times. Like, it would mean a lot to me if you can like just remember, because it's like it could be a little bit frustrating sometimes that you keep asking the same question. Like, maybe write it down in your notes, or I don't know, like, but I'm just letting you know. Like, it would be like, say it in a way that doesn't make it feel like it's such an attack, but I know that it affects you enough where you're bringing it up with me.
Like, if they were like, it hurts my feelings that you don't remember, essentially.
Yeah, essentially.
You'd be like, oh shit, I feel bad. Yeah. And then you would like remember that their drink was...
Even if I don't like change overnight, and but you know, like I can explain that. Like, I'm definitely gonna try. Maybe I won't change overnight, but like for the most part, when someone...
But it's not even about change, it's about remembering.
Because that's a consequence. That is a consequence.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to think too, like, there's people in my life that have told me things like that before. Like, oh, I feel like I have to repeat myself.
Because for you, you're not naturally as much of a people pleaser. Like, you say you're a people pleaser. I don't think you really are that much of a people pleaser. For me, I'm more like, I care about how people, how I make people feel, and like the people that I care about, I don't want to feel like a burden or like an annoyance in any way, or I don't know.
But also being a people pleaser means that like you have a hard time saying no to things. And I think in like a business perspective, like with my job for a long time, I think I was just like I didn't have a voice for myself because I was scared that I like wouldn't get a job or like they wouldn't want to work with me again. So I think in that aspect, I was definitely a people pleaser.
I think the people that you're most comfortable with, but it's not just that. I don't even mean that in a passive aggressive way. Like it just means that like, because it doesn't even mean that like you're a bad person. I think that
I don't think it means
if you knew that you, I don't know, if it was something that you actually deemed as like, okay, I actually was being really mean and it affected this person, like I want to apologize, I want to take accountability. But with stupid things like that like doesn't to you
like if you were like, it hurts my feelings, you don't remember my favorite drink, I'd be like, fucking get over it. Like that's how my brain works.
There you go.
Like when I don't think it's important because it's about a favorite drink, I'd be like, okay, that's stupid. Yeah. But if it was like you're hurting my feelings because like you're mean to me or something, or like I feel like you're not putting in any effort to see me or to talk to me, I'd be like, oh shit, like I'd feel bad. Yeah. But like the things like the favorite drink,
for me,
I'd feel like, okay.
See, for me, I'm the type of person where it's like if someone that I cared about even told me something so small like that, like, oh, it hurts my feelings that you don't remember my favorite drink, even when I've told you a bunch of times, or hurts my feelings that like you, not even hurts my feelings, because in my head I'd be like, seriously, like grow up. But stupid thing, but it affects me still because I'm like, oh, I don't want them to think that I don't care about them.
Right. To me, in my brain, I guess I rationalize it by saying like me not remembering their favorite drink is not going to make them think I don't like them because I'm going to show up for them in so many other aspects.
Yeah, I would think that in my head, but I wouldn't like, I would still change. I would still change my behavior.
More empathetic.
I would try to improve.
Yeah.
Yeah. More empathetic. That's what it is.
Yeah. It's a little bit more empathetic, but I think too.
But it has to be with someone that I actually value. Like, yeah, if it was if it was someone that I don't really care about, I would be like, oh, okay, sorry. And then I would just probably put in zero effort to really be around that person. Because I'd be like, you're making me feel responsible and I don't care to be responsible for you in any way. Which sounds so mean, but it's true.
Yeah, I guess. It depends on, like you're saying, the value of the person that like is in your life. It's just hard because I feel like there's so much nuance too, right? Like I feel like with ADHD specifically, because it's such a big spectrum, there's so much that like anyone can almost fall on it. And then it's like, okay, but
everything's a spectrum though. To actually be diagnosed with ADHD, it needs to be affecting you and your life to a certain, like to a bad enough degree where being on the medication or even if you don't want to go the medication route, but finding a therapist or whatever it is, getting some kind of help is really beneficial.
So for example, like I said, I didn't take any of my Vyvanse during the whole 2 weeks of like Christmas break or like week and a half, whatever it was. And I noticed definitely huge difference. And before the break, I was thinking, I'm like, I don't even think I need to be on medication anymore. Like I'm doing so well, like everything's good. I really don't feel like I need it. And I remember my doctor had told me it's not like antidepressants where you need to like wean off of it. It's like a big thing. Like with ADHD meds, like you could take it one day and not take it the next. Like it's fine. So I just like stopped taking it. And I wasn't taking it every day anyway. Like I wouldn't take it weekends, whatever. Oh my God, what a difference. Like in a negative way. Like I was just so forgetful, not completing tasks, like getting in my head, so much anxiety. Literally as soon as I started taking it again, it was calm. And I was like, motherfuck, you know?
Yeah. It really makes you see. Also, like, because I'm the same. Like sometimes I'll go like a weekend if I'm not working without taking it. But then like there's even times where I'm like, I know I'm not working all day. I want to maybe get a few things. I want to be productive.
Yes.
I want to get things done around my house. I want to run errands. I want to do this. I want to do that. And I'll take my ADHD medication, even though I don't need it to last the full 8 hours.
Yeah.
But I'll take it because I've noticed that when I'm not working, if I don't take it, but I still want to like get certain things done, like, you know, I want to either go to the mall, run some errands, get things done around my condo, like it feels almost impossible to start these things because I'm just thinking about how long it's going to take, how like I don't have the motivation to
get it all done,
to start.
Okay. Once you, let's say you weren't on the medication and you set a timer in your phone, like at 9 a.m. I'm going to start the laundry. And then like you didn't take your meds, you got the alarm on your phone and you're like, oh, just fucking do it. And you just forced yourself to do it. And then you completed it. And then you did the next, like, do you think that that would help by just starting?
I used to do that before being on medication.
Did it help or no?
And it did help. But for me to force myself enough to just do it, even if I really don't want to in the moment, I wasn't consistent with that. My main thing is it was my focus was shit. My lack of consistency.
Yeah.
My
forgetfulness,
my anxiety.
Yeah.
My perfectionism was even worse. This is helping actually with my perfectionism because when I'm on my medication, I don't like spiral as much.
Okay. That's good. And then your pattern recognition. Oh, you said it didn't affect that, your medication. It doesn't affect that. You still have that.
Yeah. And like also remember earlier in this episode when you were saying like you must be exhausted, like being in your brain. That's my brain toned down.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Oh my God.
Why do you think? So I'm the type of person where I like my alone time. Mm-hmm. I like my independence. I need a break from people.
You're introverted.
I'm not even necessarily introverted though.
Oh.
What that is fucking burnout. Because
like
my mind is just running at
on
like
overdrive.
High speed overdrive, 1,000,000 miles an hour constantly.
Yeah, see, I thrive when I'm with people. Like I feel like I do my best when I'm around and I'm social, especially people that are like either like-minded or that I feel like will better my life in some way that I can like learn from or be inspired from.
See, for me, I'm the type of person where it's very hard for me to really relate to a lot of people on a lot of different things because I'm such a deep thinker. I like don't care about like surface level conversations. Like if something's not funny, like I find a lot of the times too, like I've always felt internally like I definitely have my people and there's people that are like-minded and stuff. I never felt like a loner or an outcast, but I definitely felt like I was a bit of a black sheep kind of thing. Like things that people would find funny or music that people liked, like I never related.
You were bored.
I was bored, or like I didn't like the music. Like especially when it comes to music, like I have a very specific type of music I like, and
really
so many people have. It's not like bad or anything, but people would always be like, "Oh, why are you listening to this music?" They would think it's weird, and they'd put on like the cool music that's like, you know, I don't know, house. Like
what music do you like?
More like dreamy, like type of things, or like old songs, stuff like that.
Because I feel like there's been times in the car where I've been with you and you're like, oh, I love this song, or I'm saving this song.
Yeah,
like, I like that song.
Songs here and there. You're thinking in like extremes though. I'm saying like a genre of music that people love. I'm like, I don't know why people, and so many people love it.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know. I've never liked this type of music. Or like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I never related.
Okay.
Or like a sense, like a certain type of humor that so many people will find, you know, a certain comedian hilarious, or a show or a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like the movie Step Brothers, I don't find it funny.
What?
Yeah.
Do you find Superbad funny?
Yes. Superbad fun.
That's like the same humor.
Superbad is funny, but it's more like because the type of jokes they're like,
they're relatable.
They're kids. I could relate more. Whereas like Step Brothers, I'm like,
you're 2 40-year-old men living at home acting like kids.
But it was
like
also
fake.
It was like the way that they joked and their jokes. Like it was.
I can kind of relate.
So unrelatable.
I feel that way when it comes to Anchorman or like Napoleon Dynamite. I do not find those movies funny at all.
I don't find those movies funny either.
And people would find them so funny, and I was like, I don't get it. Yeah. So I can relate on that level.
I don't find, like Bridesmaids, hilarious.
So funny. Mean
Certain
Girls
scenes are so are hilarious.
Mean Girls funny.
Mean Girls. What were the funny scenes again? Mean Girls wasn't funny.
Well, I mean, there's so much comedy in it. When your mother's chest hair. Like, where'd you get your wig? She doesn't even go here.
Yeah, like I don't find that sense of humor funny.
Regina George getting hit by a freaking bus.
Not funny. It's not because I'm like against it. I think it's like insulting or whatever. I'm just like, it's just not funny. Like,
okay.
I don't understand how that's funny. Like what I found funny was the comment that woman made in Mean Girls where she was like, it's not my fault I have a wide set vagina. Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah. Like that was more funny.
This is so interesting to me, by the way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for so long, because we were sisters and we had like resentment and we had like all these, even though we were close, like I feel like we never really opened up that much towards each other. And not for any reason of like you telling me this 10 years ago, I wouldn't have like reacted badly to it, but it's just not something that you would have talked to me about. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because we weren't as close.
Yeah, even though we were close because you'd come over all the time to my house.
Yeah, but I wasn't as like comfortable being vulnerable. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't like, I don't know, maybe I would say something like that. I don't know.
Or maybe I would have judged it. Maybe it would have been like, you don't find that funny? That's stupid. Like.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I don't know. So I do wonder, like, it is cool. I feel like I'm, like, getting to know you
And the
more.
reason why I would never, like, speak up and say, like, I would lie and be like, oh, yeah, that movie, I love that movie, when in reality, it's like.
Oh, I've done that before, especially in high school.
In reality, it's like, I don't find Step Brothers funny at all.
Oh, my God, Kyla, I realized.
Maybe if I rewatched it, because I also don't remember the full movie. But I do remember I've seen it, like, twice a while ago. No, but even if I rewatch it, like, don't be surprised if I genuinely don't find it funny.
Oh my God, I can like quote the whole movie. I think it's hilarious. That's actually crazy to me.
But that's the majority of people's reactions when I tell them these things. So then I would just keep it to myself because I would be like,
but
okay.
What confuses me, and this is so off topic, so sorry, but like I need to say this because like Anchorman and Napoleon Dynamite are a specific kind of humor. Just like Friends and Seinfeld are totally different. And The Office, totally different. It's a different kind of humor. Whereas I feel like Step Brothers and Superbad are very similar types of humor.
See, for me, it's not similar at all because I find Superbad fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And I find Step Brothers like cringy. Like they're annoying, if anything. I don't find
it funny. They are, though. They aren't. That's the whole point. That's what's funny is that they're fucking annoying. Like, grow up.
Maybe that's what it is. Like it bothers me.
Okay. Yeah, that I could see that then.
I'm like these two idiots and like not in a funny way, in like a judgmental way.
What about She's the Man?
She's the Man, so many funny scenes.
Okay, good.
But with Superbad, and I can't compare Superbad with Step Brothers because it's like different characters.
No, I get it, and it's like
also like the jokes are different though.
Yeah. What about Wedding Crashers?
I don't remember Wedding Crashers. Okay. The movie.
She's the Man. I Love You Man with Paul Rudd and Jason Segel. Well, Paul Rudd, he's like getting married, but he has like no friends, and so he like makes a friend.
I don't remember. So I can't say. Okay. I know what movie you're talking about. I remember certain scenes, but I don't remember like the humor.
What about the one? What's
that movie? That movie there with. It's not Superbad. It was they're in high school. He like loses his virginity.
Huh?
He like fucks an apple pie.
Oh, American Pie.
American Pie. Don't find it funny. Maybe certain scenes are funny and I just don't remember. But overall, I remember thinking like American Pie overrated.
Eurotrip.
I don't remember that movie.
In the same time frame as American Pie. It's the same kind of humor as American Pie. It's actually very interesting to me. What people like, you know what I mean? Because obviously every human has different interests.
But I find that I've always been more alone, more of like the minority with like the type of music I don't like and the type of movies and shows I don't like versus like everyone else.
Well, literally we were talking about before how like this was from another episode where we're like Stranger Things and you're like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And like there's a lot of people that don't care for it, but like the majority of people love Stranger Things. The majority of people love pop culture. You don't give two shits. And it's not like
unless
you're trying
there's
to be
something about it that like really stands out, like Harry Potter, love.
Yeah.
Twilight, could not give less of a shit.
Oh my god. It's 'cause you didn't read the
Twilight is like,
books.
but I also don't care about like the love story.
Vampire
Like, they frame
Diaries?
it- I never got into Vampire Diaries.
Gossip Girl?
Never got into Gossip Girl. I want to rewatch Sex in the City though.
Yeah, that's good.
But like, why is it that Sex in the City interests me so much more than Gossip Girl? Maybe it's because Sex in the City now is more relatable.
Maybe. But Sex in the City also is like
I find Friends, I've always liked Friends, don't care for Seinfeld.
well, that's a different time though, and a different kind of humor. It's like an older style of humor, so I can understand. A lot of people don't really understand Seinfeld. But yeah, I think when it comes to like things that you're interested in, feeling like you said the black sheep and almost having to go along with something because you just don't want to have to deal with explaining why you don't like something. Like
Sometimes I can't explain why I don't like something. I just don't like, I don't think it's funny.
And you don't need to have an
Like
explanation.
when people are like, how could you like this but not this? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
I guess because my brain doesn't understand. But I also, you don't need to understand everything. Like you're not me and I'm not you.
Yeah, because exactly. It's the same thing as like, I mean, I get it too. If someone told me they never watched Harry Potter, they don't really know about it and they couldn't care less, I'd be like, what? Oh my God. But at the same time, it's like, not.
It's just funny to me that you don't like reality TV because I feel like you're the kind of person, because you're so, like I say, observant and you're like so in tune, you could pick up on things. I feel like you watching reality TV.
It's because everything is fake with reality TV. It shouldn't even be called
No, but
reality
it's entertainment. Like you'd be like, oh my God. Because some situations
But I don't care
are
about
real.
like, I don't know how to explain it. I just don't like reality TV. It's just like not interesting to me.
Yeah, I got it.
It's boring. Also, I like feel weird. I'm like, why am I watching these like people in their real lives? Like I could be learning.
But you like the
something.
Kardashians.
The Kardashians is more entertaining, but it's also because they've been around for so long. They're so popular. Their homes are nice. I know more about them because I see them all over social media.
Okay.
Like there's other things I like. You know, I'll look at their style. I'll look at the hair, the makeup. But even at that, I don't watch the Kardashians.
Oh, I thought you did.
I tried getting into it at one point. I got a little hooked at one point, and then I gave it. I didn't care anymore.
I feel like you would like Vanderpump Rules.
They're so fake looking though.
Vanderpump Rules was from like the early 2000s. They like literally had like the flip phones and the skinny lips.
Also,
and,
me
like,
saying they look so fake though, but then talking about how I got more into the Kardashians, like
Dead.
what?
Anyway, we got to wrap this up because I have a meeting. But that was in true to ADHD fashion, super off topic and super honed into that one.
Because it stimulated us.
Exactly. We were like so concerned, not concerned, but like
our minds latched onto
enthralled.
something. So if anything that we spoke about in today's episode is something that you can relate to, then
I'd love to know
maybe
people's
you
thoughts.
do, maybe you don't have ADHD.
We do, but we do have like doctors that follow us that sometimes will like comment things like, oh, hey, I learned this in like my studies, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and it's cool, right? Because again, just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you know everything, right? Like, the doctors have different opinions on stuff too. But okay.
Anyways,
love you, and
love
we will talk to
you.
you next week.
bye.
Bye.